Addod Solutions. Add-on desired.
Hello viewers, welcome to Addod Solution Daily Current Affairs. I am Lokesh Penugonda. We'll begin our session with the first article, where the rating agency ICRA has asked the union government to reduce the taxes levied on the petrol products. It has stated that as the demand is increasing, even if you reduce the tax on the petrol products, the total net tax revenue you would earn would be the same. And it has stated that by reducing the taxes levied on petrol products, the inflation could also be reduced. So we'll first see what inflation is. Inflation is the general rise in prices of products including goods and services. So if the prices of goods and services in the country on average increase, then you term it as inflation. Let's say if we say that inflation for the year 2019 and 20 is 10%, then that means if you can buy a product in the year 2019 at 100 rupees, then the same product will cost in 2020 110 rupees. That is, there is a 10% rise in the price of a particular product or a commodity. So this is the inflation. Now we'll see how petrol prices and inflation are related. Petrol related products are used in agriculture, are used in transportation, are used in manufacturing and in many other services. If the petrol price increase, then the farmers would have to pay more to buy petrol. Farmers in many areas have to purchase petrol or diesel to run their generators so that the motors which are located in their field can draw water from the underground. So if the price of petrol increase, farmers will have to pay more. And even after they successfully cultivate their crop, they have to transport these produce from their crop to the nearby city or to the nearby market. So in all these cases, they would have to purchase petrol so that they can use this petrol in a commercial vehicle to transport the produce they have cultivated. So this is why it will impact the agriculture. Next is it will impact the transport sector. If the price of petrol is increasing from 70 rupees to 100 rupees, then if you want to transport one particular product from one place to other place, you have to hire a transport vehicle. And this transport vehicle also will ask you to pay more because they have to pay more now that the petrol is costing dearly. So this is why it will impact the transportation sector as well. Next is its impact on the manufacturing sector. In many industries, petrol related products would be used as intermittent goods or to transport something from their industries to other places. As products prices increase in all these areas, the poor would be negatively impacted because if the price of one product increases from 10 rupees to 30 rupees, then a poor person might not be able to buy this product. So this is why it will impact all the sectors and all the categories of people in the country. So ICRA has asked the union government to reduce the price on the petrol products. Next, it has stated that even if you reduce the taxes levied on these products, your net tax receipt would be the same. We'll see this with an example. If in the year 2020, if government is getting 240 rupees as tax, then it may be getting this 240 rupees by levying 30 rupees as tax for 1 liter of petrol. So let's assume that government earns 30 rupees as tax per every liter it is selling. So it might be selling 8 liters and for every liter it is getting 30 rupees as tax. That's why it may be able to get 240 rupees. But in the year 2021, now that the restrictions placed on people, transportation have been completely done away in many states, people are going out and there is an increase in the demand. So the demand for petrol products might increase from 8 liters to 10 liters. So in this case, even if you reduce the tax levied on 1 liter of petrol from 30 rupees to 24 rupees, you would still get 240 rupees. So ICRA has asked the union government to reduce 4.5 rupees per every liter because it stated that even if you reduce this amount, as the demand is increasing continuously, you would still get the same amount you were getting earlier. So this is regarding the first article. Our second article is talking about the sworning in of the new Uttarakhand Chief Minister. So we'll see what happened in Uttarakhand. Mr. Tirath Singh Rawat took over as the Chief Minister of Uttarakhand in the March of 2021, but he is not a MLA. So technically, he have to resign after 6 months as he is not a MLA according to the Representation of People's Act. But there is one small solution to this, that is, if he is made a MLA or if he becomes an MLA, he can continue in that position. But Election Commission has stated that as the tenure of the Uttarakhand Assembly ends in the March of 2022, which is less than 1 year away, we cannot hold any by-election at this point of time. So as we cannot hold the by-election, you could not become MLA. As you could not become an MLA for the next 6 months, you could not become a minister. That is, a person who is eligible to become an MLA can work as a minister or even as a chief minister. But he have to become an MLA within 6 months of he taking the position of a ministership. So that's why Mr. Tirath Singh Rawat has resigned from his position. So Mr. Pushkar Dhami, whom you can see in this image, has taken over as the Chief Minister of Uttarakhand. So you should remember the new Chief Minister name. Next we have an article which is talking about the new space station launched by China. So we'll just see the space station's name. The name of the space station is Tiangong. The name of this space station of China is Tiangong. You should note that apart from International Space Station, this is the only space station which is in the Earth orbit. Next we have an article where the Jammu and Kashmir administration have stated that it will impose a ban in the Srinagar district as well. So we'll see what happened in Jammu and Kashmir in brief again. Last week there was a terror attack on the Air Force base in the Jammu. The terrorists have used drones to attack this airfield. So the Jammu and Kashmir administration have already banned the usage of drones and unmanned aerial vehicles in a district called as Rajouri. And now the Jammu and Kashmir administration has banned the use of drones and unmanned aerial vehicles even in the Jammu district. So in the entire country, only in 2 districts, the use of drones and unmanned aerial vehicles have been banned by the government. These are the Rajouri and the Jammu district. Next we have an article which is talking about the Salva Judum. It is talking about the Salva Judum. So what is this Salva Judum? In Gondi language, Salva Judum means purification hunt. It means purification hunt. In the state of Chhattisgarh, Gonds are a tribal people living, and in their Gondi language, the purification hunt is the Salva Judum. So what do you mean by purification hunt, and what is the Salva Judum? Salva Judum is an anti-Naxalite movement. It is an anti-Naxalite or anti-Maoist movement and a force. You can call it as a local militia. We have seen how the Maoism or the Naxalism is impacting the central India. It is very negatively impacting the states such as Chhattisgarh and the states such as Jharkhand. So to completely eradicate the Naxals living in the state of Chhattisgarh, the Chhattisgarh government with the help of union government has started this Salva Judum. It is an anti-Naxalite militia or an anti-Naxalite force. So who will be members of this militia? The members of this militia will be civilians and ex-Naxalites, ex-Naxals. So we have many Naxals or many Maoists who after coming out of their old profession joins the mainstream living, and the union government along with the state government of Chhattisgarh has taken their help to start this Salva Chudum, wherein they would be armed with weapons. So a normal person with a basic training would be given a weapon and will be sent to the forested areas to fight the Naxalites living in these areas. This is the Salva Chudum. You should note that in the year 2011, the Supreme Court has invalidated or nullified the creation of Salva Chudum. It has stated that arming civilians and ex-Naxalites with deadly weapons is not something permitted in the constitution, and it has completely asked the state government to done away with the Salva Chudum anti-Naxal force. But you should note that this force has been renamed as District Reserve Guard. So still this anti-Naxal movement or the anti-Naxal militia is running in the state of Chhattisgarh. And in this article, the author is stating that even after the Supreme Court's judgment, Chhattisgarh government has not completely eradicated this anti-Naxalite militia or anti-Naxalite force. So you should note the Salva Chudum is an anti-Naxalite force or a militia which is in the state of Chhattisgarh. Next we have an article which is talking about a new railway line being constructed in the state of Kerala. This is the Silver Line project. This is the Silver Line project. In the image you can see various cities of Kerala. The northernmost city of Kerala is Kasaragod, and the southernmost city and the capital of Kerala is Thiruvananthapuram. You can see that it is nearly 550 kilometers distance apart. It is nearly 550 kilometers distance apart, and with the current railway network, to cover this 550 kilometers, you would require at least a 12-hour journey. So to reduce the journey between Thiruvananthapuram and Kasaragod, the Kerala state government has proposed this Silver Line project. It has stated that it will be a semi-high-speed railway network, and it has also stated that Kerala state government is willing to share a particular amount which is required to construct this railway project. So this is a significant development considering the fact in India all the major railways and even the minor railways would be constructed and would be managed by the Indian Railways, which is a union government's ministry or a department. But for the first time, a state government has proposed to the union government stating that we will bear a particular percentage of the expenditure that would be required to create this semi-high-speed railway network between Kasaragod and Thiruvananthapuram. So you should remember the names of the cities and the state along with the project's given title, which is a Silver Line. And it is stated that by constructing this semi-high-speed railway network, you can reduce the travel time between this Kasaragod and Thiruvananthapuram from 12 hours to 4 hours, and as a result, people can save their time. And as the number of people traveling in the train increases, the number of people traveling in the road network would reduce, and as a result, there would be less road accidents and there will be less traffic in the roads. So these are various advantages for the creation of Silver Line project. Next we have an article where it is stated that there is a huge delay in the completion of railway CCTV project. It is stated that this railway CCTV project has been funded by the Nirbhaya fund. So we'll see about the Nirbhaya fund. Nirbhaya fund. In the year 2012, there was a gruesome rape and murder of a student in the Delhi. And as a result, the union government has stated that it will take more amount of steps and it will take more initiatives to safeguard the women in the country. And in the year 2013, the union government has launched or created this Nirbhaya fund, where it is stated that the money which is coming under the fund would be used for creation of infrastructure and would be used for helping the safety or for increasing the safety of women in the country. So this is the Nirbhaya fund background. You should note the Nirbhaya fund is a 1000 crore, it is a 1000 crore non-lapsable fund, that is, even if you don't use this fund or even if you don't use the money from this fund for the next 1-2 years due to some reason, this money would still be in this fund, that is, no one can take the money away from this Nirbhaya fund. And we'll see some initiatives the union government has brought with the help of this Nirbhaya fund. First is the one-stop centers, the one-stop centers. These are also being termed as Sakhi centers. Sakhi centers. Women who have faced violence can come and take help in the one-stop centers. They would be given food, they would be given accommodation, and they would be given legal support to this woman. So this is one scheme coming under the Nirbhaya fund. Second is the universalization of toll-free number. Next is the universalization of toll-free number. In India, a woman can call and if a woman can give a complaint to the police through the toll-free number launched by the Nirbhaya fund. So these are some initiatives or schemes brought under the Nirbhaya fund. You should note that state governments would be given money through this fund or from this fund. So how does this fund work? Let's say there is a state called as Andhra Pradesh, and if Andhra Pradesh is planning to bring an infrastructure, or if it is bringing an initiative to help or to support the women's safety, then it will request for some amount under this Nirbhaya fund, and the Ministry of Women and Child Development will look into this proposal. And if the Ministry of Women and Child Development approves this scheme proposed by the Andhra Pradesh government, then the Ministry of Finance will release this fund. So you should note that first the state government will have to bring in a proposal, then the Ministry of Women and Child Development will look into this proposal, and only if this ministry gives its approval, the Ministry of Finance will transfer this particular amount to that particular state government. So this is how Nirbhaya fund is being used by various states. Next we have an article talking about the National Education Policy of 2020. So you can see from the name itself that it is an education related policy brought by the union government. Next we have an article which is talking about a terror attack in Mogadishu. We'll see where Mogadishu is. Mogadishu, you can see in this image, is a capital city of Somalia. There is a country in the Horn of Africa. This is Somalia and its capital is Mogadishu, and it has recently undergone a terror attack. So we'll see which is the organization responsible for it. There is a Al-Qaeda linked terror group mainly working in the northern African continent. This is the Al-Shabaab. Next we have an article which is talking about the Women's Speed Chess Championship. The Women's Speed Chess Championship. In this championship, G. Harika, whom you can see in this image, has won the second prize. That is, she is the runner-up of this competition. Whereas the first prize has been won by Miss Hao Ifan. The first prize is won by Miss Hao Ifan, who is a Chinese chess player. So you should remember Miss Hao Ifan, and you should remember also D. Harika. The name is D. Harika, who has won the second prize in the Women's Speed Chess Championship. And with this, we have come to the end of this session. Inform about Addod's initiative to your other aspirant friends. You can visit our website to attempt mock test based on the daily current affairs. Thank you.
Addod Solutions. Add-on Desires.